black persons have been killed under strange circumstances. And the breast of the parents and loved ones of those who have perished, and the breasts of the community of those persons who have perished, is not at ease, because we cannot believe the stories that have been told to us, nor do we believe the coroner's reports to us. We in every generation have seen our loved ones shot down, murdered in cold blood, and we have seen the perpetrators of that murder gone unpunished, because their brethren in law, who are outlaws, will not prosecute guilty policemen, guilty authorities who misuse and abuse their authority over a poor and defenseless people who have done nothing but serve this nation, build the nation, fight for the nation, pay taxes to the nation, to be oppressed by those in authority in the nation.
What's good, y'all? Elite Live Streams. We back with another one. How you guys doing out there? Welcome. I hope it's been a good week for you. It has been a very, very heavy week. Lots been going on. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we talked about the Carmelo Anthony case that has gone underway. We had the first actual day of the trial. Now we're going to be talking about Rick Chow, and obviously him being able to get a not guilty plea on his unaliving of the brother Cyrus Mac Belton. You know what I'm saying? Salute to Torian. Appreciate you, bro. Always pulling up, always supporting. Yeah, it's been a lot going on, man. The energy is definitely shifting. There's definitely something in the air right now, and I had to make sure that I played a clip from the Honorable Minister Farrakhan speaking during this time in 1992, where you had a very, very tumultuous time as well, right? It was obviously during the Rodney King riots and also the beating of Rodney King. We had that going, and then as well, Latasha Harlins. Okay, this was all around the same era, right? This all was kind of like a volcano, a powder keg that boiled over. And so a lot of us in the Black American community, we see the pattern. You know what I'm saying? We see that there is a pattern and history is 100% repeating itself. And it's very unfortunate because obviously when we look at these two cases in comparison, it is very, very, very similar. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I put together this thumbnail. As you can see, you have Rick Choi, you have Cyrus, you have also, let me make sure I get this lady's name right, because she has one of them names. Y'all know them names, right? Her name is Soon John Doe. And then you have Latasha Harlins, right? There you go. Soon Don Ju. Yeah. So obviously this case from Soon John Doe and Latasha Harlins was during the 90s. And during that time, obviously I'm in California. I was in the city. Okay. I can remember the Rodney King riots as a very young person. I can remember the chaos. I can remember the fires. I can remember the energy, right? And during that time, it was heavy. You know what I'm saying? It was heavy in the streets. It was heavy in the energy. It was heavy in the community. And a lot of us were fed up because obviously in both of those cases where you reference Rodney King or Latasha Harlins, they both didn't receive the justice that was owed to them, right? Latasha obviously was accused of stealing a water, very similar to what happened to Cyrus, who was accused of stealing a water. And they both lost their lives behind a immigrant shop owner, okay? And now we're starting to see a wave, right? A wave of people speaking out saying that it is time to not only boycott, but it's time to completely delineate from doing any business with immigrants. That's kind of where we're at right now. You know, I think we've all kind of reached a certain point. You know, we've been talking about delineation for a while now, right? But now I wanted to get more so into the fact that delineation is our protection. It is. Like, in order for us to continue to be able to do what we need to do, we have to delineate in order to protect ourselves at this point, because it's dangerous. Let's just keep it a buck. It's dangerous for us to even put ourselves out there. And I pray, because obviously we're still going to have people who are still going to do business with these other people, right? We're still going to have people who are still going to patronize their shops. We are. But at this point, if you are still going out of your way to do business with these people, that's on you, family, because all the history tells us exactly what that outcome will be, the way that they treat us, especially with us literally investing in their businesses, putting money in their pockets. And that money that we do put in their pockets does not come back into our community. They could care less about our money. They could care less about us patronizing their businesses. So if you are still choosing to do business with these people, that is on you. 100%, that is on you. And that's why I had to play that clip from Minister Farrakhan speaking about this, because obviously during this time and when we were going through the riots and as well the uprisings that were happening, because so many Black Americans were fed up with what was happening, and also for the fact that there is no consequence for the harm that is done to our community, right? Justice is not served. And so a lot of us got fed up with that and they hit the streets. And obviously it was a historic time. So I'm going to play this again for you guys who didn't see the clip as soon as it came in here, just so we can kind of get on the same page and y'all can see what we're talking about here.
3 Black persons
This was in
have been
1992.
killed under strange circumstances. And the breast of the parents and loved ones of those who have perished, and the breasts of the community of those persons who have perished is not at ease because we cannot believe the stories that have been told to us, nor do we believe the coroner's reports to us. We in every generation have seen our loved ones shot down, murdered in cold blood, and we have seen the perpetrators of that murder gone unpunished.
Listen, man, this is 1992. You know what I'm saying? 32 years ago. And nothing has changed. Literally, nothing has changed. And it looks like, you know, it looks like Carmelo's got a tall hill to climb. Obviously, we already know that the jury is pretty much predominantly YT, and he's definitely got a very, very tall hill to climb. It is starting to ramp up, right? We're starting to see people outside of the courtroom. We're starting to see conflicts outside of the courtroom. We're starting to see a lot of the energy shifting towards kind of what already people want to, you know, have their own, you know, ideologies. Obviously, I'm big on self-defense and I support Carmelo, but we already know how the justice system works for our people. And so this being 32 years ago is kind of insane because, like I mentioned, like nothing has changed since then. We still are beating the drum for the anti-Black hate crime bill. We're still trying to push legislation for our people so that there are stipulations in place to protect us. But we also need to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and not patronizing these people's businesses and starting to invest in our own. And it's crazy, you know, just because this is, like I mentioned, something that's been happening for 32 years, y'all. Like, what are we doing?
Because their brethren in law who are outlaws will not prosecute guilty policemen, guilty authorities who misuse and abuse their authority over a poor and defenseless people who have done nothing but serve this nation, build the nation, fight for the nation, pay taxes to the nation, to be oppressed by those in authority in the nation.
And this is where we at. Like we've done so much as a people, you know what I'm saying? We've invested so much in this country. We've invested so much in not only other communities, but the system at large. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned taxes, like we're tax-paying citizens, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that we can't get a fair shake in any scenario, whether we are not participating, whether we are participating, whether we are defending ourselves, every single turn, we are not served justice. And that's why it's so important, you know what I mean, for us to start really locking in with each other and pushing the line to make sure that we protect one another, because obviously the system, it will not do that for us. And it keeps showing us examples over and over and over again. You feel me? And it's crazy because obviously, let me pull this up for y'all. This dude, right? He has a history. He had a history of being violent towards our people. A history, a documented history. There's now videos starting to come out. There's starting to be more, you know, evidence that shows his ideology and the way that he would treat our people. Yet and still, he was able to walk, right? Look at the history of this dude right here. Look at the history, right? 2015, he accused a woman of shoplifting a case of beer and boiled peanuts. He fired 6 shots at her vehicle as she drove away from this lunatic. Okay. 2018, he accused a man of stealing a can of oven cleaner and shot him in the leg. Okay. 2023, obviously, we already know what happened. Okay. He accused 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack Belton of stealing water and pows him and unalives him. Okay. This is the history of this man who is a menace to society and a straight up lunatic. Okay. Who has a obvious bias and prejudice towards our people. And this is why there is a huge, overwhelming movement right now to completely delineate from these people, to not patronize their businesses, to completely allow them to invest in their own selves and stay out of their stores, their shops, their food restaurants, all that stuff, right? And now you also have some people from their community trying to mock us and bait us into doing what we need to do, right? And I find that to be, you know, a very real challenge, a very real challenge. And I'm curious to see if our people stand up. I'm very curious to see what happens now. You know what I'm saying? I'm very interested to see if they follow up, if we really stand on business, because obviously, you know, we saw the Target boycott, right? A lot of people stopped shopping in Target. I've been stopped shopping in these, you know, major corporations for a long time. That's just my own personal choice, though. It had nothing to do with kind of the politics of it all, but obviously the politics came through. So it's like, okay, bet, I make it easier for me. But now we got to see if our people going to stand on business, if we really going to stand on business, if we really going to go out of our way to not patronize their businesses anymore, to make sure that we start to shift that money away from their community and start really going out of our way to invest in our community, right? Making sure that we are doing research to find people who are Black American store owners and people who are a part of the community who we can invest in and start to patronize their businesses. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the beauty supply market, we definitely have a huge density of them in that specific industry that we need to make sure that we start to get away from that. Obviously, you know, I do my own hair. I have my own barbershops that I go to. My barber, me and him have done a stream on my channel. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I invest in my people, but I have to, you know, I hope that the sisters, they stop going to these beauty supply stores. I hope they stop getting their nails done by these people. I hope they really start to think about their decisions and how powerful our dollar is. You feel me? If we were a country as Black Americans, we would be in the top 15 if it was just for us and our spending and grossing power. So with that much money and that much power for our dollar, we need to make sure that we stand on business now, because at this point now they playing with us. Now they playing in our face. Now they're baiting us to see what happens, to call our bluff, right? And I think it's important. I think it's important for us to make sure that we stand on business now, because there is no getting around this. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of us have been talking about the treatment that we've had to endure over many generations, right? Like the brother Minister Farrakhan spoke on. For generations, we've been dealing with this stuff. Now is the time. If there is no better time, the time is now to really lock in and make sure that we completely delineate for our own protection. Because at the end of the day, it is dangerous for us to patronize their businesses now, because they look at us as a threat, right? And they're willing to use deadly force, all right? Deadly force against us. So what do we do now? We got to make sure that we delineate for our own protection. And not only just when it comes to these people, many different immigrants, right? And their backgrounds, right? They all have the same ideology towards us. And it's time for us to just say, hey, man, y'all got it. We good. We're going to find our own way. We're going to make our own moves. We're going to cook our own food. If you like Chinese food, make it yourself, man. You might actually be healthier. You know what I'm saying? You could use actually real ingredients. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you know, the standards would be much higher because you're going to be doing it for yourself. It's sad, you know what I'm saying, to see that a lot of people still have to be told, oh yeah, man, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Like, nah, bro, you guys gotta start really, really working on that. You gotta really start changing your mentality. You gotta start changing your ideology of where you're gonna invest your money in and how you're gonna move out here, because they want, you know what I'm saying, they want blood, bro. And they're really willing to do whatever they got to do to make that happen. And obviously, you know what I'm saying, we are subject, right, to a lot of this punishment because of their own insecurities and how they feel about us. And we got to be careful, because now we can't really play anymore. There isn't any wiggle room for us to not be sitting here and just letting it continue. We got to change our mentality. We got to change how we live. We got to change how we see the world, because obviously they're willing to do this at a different pace than we are. You know what I'm saying? The history has shown us, right? History has shown us what they are willing to do, right? The deadly force that they're willing to use on us. We have to protect ourselves now. We cannot play anymore. We cannot allow any more games, okay? We got to start changing the way that we move, because it is important for our safety, and not only for that, our children's safety, okay? Obviously, they do not care whether it's children, men, women. They are willing to go all the way. And you know what? A lot of Black Americans need to take note. Okay, you need to take note. You know what I'm saying? We need to stop playing with these people, because obviously they don't care about us. They don't care about our lives. They are willing to take us out over a water that they thought somebody stole. $1. $1 means that much to them. How much does it mean to you, right? How much do you take pride in what you do? How much do you take pride in yourself? How much do you take pride in your children and protecting your children from these people? Because they don't care. They don't. They are willing to go all the way, okay? They are willing to do whatever they have to do to take us out. And now we understand as well, there's no consequence for it. There is no consequence for this, all right? They don't care. There's no consequence for this. They're willing to do whatever they got to do. And we got to start standing on business. We got to start making sure that we protecting ourselves, because as you can see for the examples that they use, bro, they're not going to just allow it, man. They're just going to do whatever they got to do. And they know that the system is going to protect them, because the system does not care about Black people. All right. Black lives don't matter. And I think that's why, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement was so powerful at one point, is because it was not only just a acronym or a saying, it was actually speaking on the real consequences that Black Americans have to deal with every single day. You feel me? Every single day we are here dealing with not only the metaphors of us knowing that our lives do not matter, but the fact that there is no consequence for us being taken out, right? There's no consequence. There's no system in place that's going to protect us from these type of scenarios that continuously happen to us every single day. And it's wild, man, because, you know, like I mentioned, like the fact that this guy, right, his history, right? Let's show the history of this dude. His history speaks to him literally being unhinged, right? Videos coming out talking about or showing him getting into straight up altercations in the middle of his store. This dude is a menace to society, a completely unhinged human being, going out of his way, right, to unalive, shoot, take out people, do whatever he got to do. Salute, V. Appreciate you, man. This is his history. This is his history, okay? And it's funny because we've constantly had to see the overcorrection, right? These people trying their best to make it seem like we're the ones who are doing something wrong. when it's been proven over and over that they are targeting us at this point. So what are y'all gonna do? What we gonna do, man? Because we're already talking about boycotting, but we need to completely delineate forever. It can never come back from this. There is no coming back from this point on, man. Obviously, at this point, we have already seen how they feel for real. They show us every single day how they feel, the outcomes of how the system is protecting them and encapsulating them so that they do not have any consequence for what they do to us. And it's important now more than ever to delineate for our own protection. Okay? This is literally going to save lives. Delineation is going to save our children. It is going to protect us from these people because they do not see us the same way that we see ourselves. Okay? We don't get grace from these people. We don't get the benefit of the doubt from these people. So enough with us trying to make sure that we can prove that we're worthy. F that. Enough, man. Enough. It's over. Delineation is forever now. And mind you, it is for our protection. We need to make sure that we are protecting ourselves for future generations. All this money that we have, all this money that we invested in the community, all these money that we invest in the country, tax-paying citizens, we need to take that money and put it right back into ourselves. Hold the money, save. You would be surprised how much money you guys will save if you stop patronizing their little liquor stores, their nail salons, their beauty shops, whatever you want to say, all the beauty supply stores. You guys would save so much money going out of your way to invest in a Black-owned store, making your own food at home if it's really that important to you. All right? If it's really that important to you, learn how to make the recipes at home, family. Because at the end of the day, I'm not finna be spending my money with somebody who's treating me like I'm a criminal, like I'm gonna steal something from them, like they owe me something and I'm helping them. You feel me? We're giving them money and they're treating us like crap. No way, man. I mean, like I mentioned, there's still going to be Black folks who still going to be patronizing these businesses. There's still going to be Black folks who are going to be going and giving their money to them. But personally, man, I'm done. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Y'all can have it. Y'all so smart. Y'all this, y'all that. All right, cool, man. Cool. Because I don't want to lose my life behind somebody who's trigger happy like this Rick Choi dude. All right. Somebody like his son who's emboldened as well because of his father, right? And then mind you, there is no consequence for these people, man. I'm gonna play this clip again for y'all, so just so you guys can see, man, just so you guys can understand. This is from 1992, all right?
3 Black persons have been killed under strange circumstances. And
this was right after the Rodney King riots and the Latasha Harlins murder, all right? After she was unalived by, ironically, an immigrant store clerk, okay?
The breast of the parents and loved ones of those who have perished, and the breasts of the community of those persons who have perished is not at ease because we cannot believe the stories that have been told to us, nor do we believe the coroner's reports to us. We in every generation have seen our loved ones shot down, murdered in cold blood, and we have seen the perpetrators of that murder gone unpunished because their brethren in law who are outlaws will not prosecute guilty policemen, guilty authorities who misuse and abuse their authority over a poor and defenseless people who have done nothing but serve this nation, build the nation, fight for the nation, pay taxes to the nation, to be oppressed by those in authority in the nation.
I couldn't have said it better myself, man. As much as we've invested in this community and in this country, as much as we've fought for this country, veterans who have died for this country, we built this country as foundational Black Americans. And what's the thanks that we get? Why do we fight so hard for these people? They come to our communities. They set up shop in our communities. They make money off of our community. And then guess what happens? We end up the ones taking it right in the back. You feel me? Salute to V. He says there will be no end or grace we don't get. Yeah, man. Facts. And we only need a percentage to shut things down. Yeah, man. We don't need everybody. I always say this. We only need a select few who are willing to go all the way. All right. Who are willing to make the sacrifice that's necessary for us to say, hey, man, we good. Because like I mentioned, delineation is our protection. It is going to protect us because obviously there is no consequence for these people. So we need to make sure that we delineate from them so that we can protect ourselves. All right. They don't care about us. They don't want our money. They don't want us in our businesses. So fine. Completely ignore them. Go somewhere else, family. Find different outlets to be able to get what you want, bro. But to just continue to go through these cycles, and mind you, like I mentioned, this clip is from 1992, 32 years ago. Latasha Harlins lost her life 32 years ago. And we still dealing with the same exact thing in 2026. History is repeating itself. And if we don't change, it will repeat itself continuously. If we don't change the way that we do business and the way that we look at ourselves and the power of our own dollars, we will fall into the same trap that these people unfortunately lost their lives behind. Rest in peace to Cyrus. Rest in peace to Latasha. 34 years. You're right. Yeah, 34 years. That's right, Neri. 34 years. We cannot continue to make the same mistakes, man. Our lives are on the line. We cannot take this lightly anymore. Okay? This is now, if there was any time, this is now the time to completely delineate for our own protection. This ain't even got nothing to do anymore with us trying to, pay our respects or trying to gain some sympathy. No, bro. This is about protection. This is about us valuing ourselves and our lives because there is no consequence for them doing what they did to these people, these young youths. All right, these kids, man. And that's why I mentioned, man, we in a weird time right now. And it's only going to ramp up, man, especially with what's happening with Carmelo Anthony. And we are watching it like a hawk. I'm covering the story. But like I mentioned, man, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, y'all. It's definitely looking like this is going to be just another thing on top of the fire that's just going to continue to brew if we don't do something. If we don't collectively make a decision, right? We need to make sure that we value ourselves and we look at how powerful we are as a people. Don't take that lightly, man, because like V said, they ain't going to give us no grace. There is no benefit of the doubt with these people. They will treat us like we are criminals when we are law-abiding citizens, when we are the ones paying taxes, when we're the ones investing in this economy. And yet they're treating us like we're going to steal a $1 water, y'all. This, like I mentioned, man, it's been a crazy week, man. It's been a lot of a lot of emotion in the air, a lot of tension in the air. And mind you, that's on top of what's already going on in the world. That's on top of what's happening right now within our economy, within our government, what's happening outside. How many people are struggling right now through the unemployment rates, how expensive everything is. And then let's add on top of that the racial tension, not only from the YT people, but as well from the immigrants. I've said this and I'm going to keep saying this. Foundational Black Americans, we have no allies. We are all we got. And if we don't wake up to that fact, if we don't start getting serious about this, we're cooked. We're cooked for real. Like, we are cooked as a community. If we don't start waking up, if we don't start really taking ourselves seriously and understanding that now is the time. If there was no other time to delineate, this is it. And if we don't start waking up, if we don't start thinking that way, we're going to continue to make the same mistakes. History will repeat itself. It will. Because we've already shown the examples. We've already shown the examples. The examples are right here. We can look at a 2026 example. We can look at a 1992 example. We can look at an 1892 example. Okay? We can go through history, hundreds of generations, years and years, centuries of us dealing with these people and never getting the benefit of the doubt, constantly losing our lives. Behind what? Jealousy, their own hate, their own internal biases and prejudice. Nah, bro, we got to move different. We have to, or we are going to see our children and our children's children continue to fall into the same traps. That's cool. Like, it's cool for, all these other groups to come out and say, oh, no, there's an outlier. That wasn't us. Don't make it on all of us when it's just one person. Like, nah, bro, we can't play them games right now. We have to make sure that we stay on code. We cannot play. It's too risky right now. You feel me? It's too risky, right? I heard a great example, and I'm gonna bring that example to the forefront. There's a snake, right? And you're in a den of snakes, okay? One of them bites you, right? And that one snake says, oops, I'm sorry. Don't judge the rest of us for just the one that bit you. Nah, bro. I don't want to get the venom again. I don't want to die. One is enough for me. One is enough for me. All it takes is one time, man. One time, okay? After what they did, and we talked about this on my last stream, after what they did to Trayvon, I've been moving different, all right? What happened to Trayvon Martin made me move different for real, man, especially at that time. I was younger and we was all in the community. You feel me? And look, we just talked about the LA riots. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here in LA. All right. I grew up here. I was in Long Beach. I was in Compton when them riots was going on. And I'll never forget the energy and the vibe that the city had during that time. I'm telling you, man, we getting to that point right now. It's getting tricky out here, y'all. It's getting crazy. A lot of this stuff is very, very interesting. The timing of it all, the timing, right? And unfortunately, we're even in a time now where we can't even defend ourselves, because if we stand our ground, we don't get the same legislation and justice that they get, right? They can stand their ground. They can protect themselves. They can do whatever they have to do to express their deadly force, but don't let us do it to them. Now it's a problem. Now we got to prosecute you. Now we got to put you on trial, right? And it's unfortunate, man, because we live in a society where this is now acceptable, and it's been acceptable since they put us in them chains and on them plantations. And I hate the energy right now. I hate it, bro, because like I mentioned, we still gonna have fools out here still patronizing their businesses after all this. We still gonna have fools out here who don't listen. But all we need is a good percentage of y'all. All we need is just a few of us to stay on code, to stand on business. And I mean this, there will be a huge impact because they need us, okay? It's just business. That's facts. It's just business. At this point, it's business. Ain't nothing personal. We need to make sure that we're doing this. And mind you as well, V, it's protection. We have to protect ourselves now. We have to encapsulate ourselves and stay within our own. I saw somebody talking about we need to start bringing back our family dinners and start bringing back our congregations and community dinners and locking in with one another. Hey, man, you ain't got nothing, nowhere to eat. Come over, bro. We gonna cook over here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, y'all don't need to be spending y'all money with these people no more. We need to start building within our own, man. And like I mentioned, if it ain't now, when? This is now the time. No better time than now. If it's not the time now, bro, I mean this. We cooked as a people. We will never reach the level that we want to reach if now isn't the time to delineate for our own protection and to make sure that we are staying away from these people who genuinely have hate for us in their heart, y'all. Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. Like, how much more punishment can we take? How much more can we continue to have these conversations, man? How many examples are we going to show? You feel me? How many examples? How much history needs to be played out for us to learn our lesson? Right? Are we hard-headed? Are we that stubborn? Right? Because that's what's going to happen, man. And it's a lot of people who are struggling with that, right? Because they want to still have access to these people. They still want to be able to commingle with these people. They still want to be able to be a part of this coalition, right? Oh, yeah, we're all together, you know, because actually it's us versus them. Well, if that was the case, then why are y'all doing us the way that y'all doing us if it's us versus them? It's always us versus them when we the ones who taking the brunt of the punishment, right? It's always, well, guys, we need to work together. We can't be divisive. But then our people is getting unalived at alarming rates and no consequences are being held up for that. No justice is being given to our community. Think, you know, I saw the mother of Cyrus. I saw how hurt she was and how upset she was. I can only imagine what she's going through right now, right? I can only imagine what Latasha Harlan's mother went through and her family, right? I can only imagine what Trayvon Martin's family went through, man. Michael Brown, Ahmaud Arbery. Come on, man. We can keep going, y'all. We could really keep going, but you guys get what I'm saying here, right? Is the fact that there are so many examples of these things happening to our people. How many examples do we need before we let go and start moving away from this? How many examples is it going to take for y'all to really understand that delineation is necessary for our own protection at this point? How many examples are we going to need before we wake up and understand that it's just us? It's just us. Nobody else. Nobody else, man. Nobody else. How many examples? How much history do we have to go through before we realize that, hey, man, this is a pattern and we need to make sure that we stay away from these people? I mean this, bro. Y'all got to help me understand. Y'all got to help me understand how many times it's going to keep happening before y'all going to wake up and say, you know what? I could do my nails at home. You know what? I need to stop going to these beauty supply stores. You know what? I like Chinese food, but it ain't that good. You know what? I like sushi, but maybe I can learn how to make it myself. How many examples, y'all? Because I'm seeing people, I'm seeing content creators asking questions. Oh, so what we doing? Are we boycotting? Like, bro, what? Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, man. We can't have grown people chasing kids down. Our children, okay? Our children, right? Because they're not doing this to YT children. They're not doing this to other immigrant children. They're doing it to our children, okay? And mind you, like I mentioned, I brought up the history of this dude. This dude is a despicable human being. He has a history of this. What we gonna do, y'all? What we gonna do? Look at the history. The history is right here. His history of pow-powing people he accused of shoplifting. How long, man? How long? Salute to LeVar. He says, and by locking us out of ownership, they force us into these other people's businesses, pulling us in these situations and giving them a reason to take us out. It's all by design, 100%, LeVar. And that's why I mentioned, as a part of the tangibles that foundational Black Americans need, we also need to get the same small business funding that y'all be giving these immigrants. We still need those tax breaks that y'all give these immigrants to open up businesses. We need those in our community. Just like y'all help them out, you guys are giving them grants. Okay, there are grants for immigrants to open businesses. Where's the foundational Black American grants to open businesses? Y'all help me understand where that money is. And that's why it's important for reparations, right? Reparations, you give us our check, let us go ahead and invest in opening businesses so that we can be able to patronize our businesses and not have to worry about these people. Where is it at? Where's the money? That's why it's so important, man. Anti-Black hate crime bill, yeah, that would have actually been able to apply in this situation where you have a man who has a history of actually attacking our people because he's accusing them of shoplifting. If there was an anti-Black hate crime bill in place, this guy would be underneath the prison system. Okay? There would be sweat equity that he would be giving to the U.S. government, right? But it ain't that. We need an anti-Black hate crime bill. We need reparations and cash payments and land grants. And we also need a systemic funding and oversight for small businesses for our people, man. That's what we need, bro. Because tangibles, this is a part of that. The protections that we are needed and afforded because these people are unhinged, man. They have no consequence to tell them or even think about, hey, man, I probably shouldn't pow this person. I probably shouldn't accuse them of stealing if I cannot prove it. Because you know what? In retail, you're supposed to not be chasing down a shoplifter in general. If somebody steals something, you're supposed to just let them go because it's a dangerous situation. But hold up. You're telling me that a guy can literally run down somebody and there's no consequences at all? And mind you, the prosecution only using murder one or he goes free. How negligent are these people? It's because they don't care, y'all. They don't care. They don't care. They are already cool with Black Death, right? Black Death is very, very easy for them to consume because it's been generational. There's been Black Death for generations. So naturally, they're more desensitized to it, right? It hurts us naturally because we are very, very connected and a very spiritual people. So naturally, we have a certain heart and a certain empathic situation. We have empathy for our people. They don't. They don't understand us. They don't care about us, nor do they want us to even be able to reach the levels that we know we can reach. So naturally, when you don't have those type of protections, you have unhinged people like Rick Chow, who has a history of this, able to go out here and do what he does because he knows the system is going to protect him. He knows that there's no consequences. He knows that naturally this system is a racist system and white supremacy always applies. So that's what I mean, man. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do, FBA? What we gonna do, man? Are y'all gonna stand on business and continue to patronize, or are you going to completely delineate for your own protection? Straight up, selfish, not selfless, like we were told to be. Yeah, man. We are constantly giving ourselves to others, but they would never return the favor. They would never return the favor, and they've proven it. History has shown us this. So if we're going to study history, right? If we're going to play the history game, what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? If history is telling us that these people do not mess with us, they don't have no respect for us, they think we're criminals, they think we're degenerate, it's time for us to delineate completely delineate. We need to completely stay away from these people forever. It's over. Ain't no coming back. Yeah, man, I'm on code forever. Same, bro. I'm good. You know, I never been into anime. I never really been into all that stuff. So that's very easy for me. Obviously, I feel like I'm a phenomenal cook, so I can cook whatever I need to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's not about us. That's facts, V. It's not about us. It's about the community at large. Are y'all as our women, are y'all gonna stop going to these nail shops? Are y'all gonna stop going to the beauty supply stores? Are y'all gonna stop patronizing their businesses for things that y'all need? Are y'all willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice for your children, right? Because if you're a mother, if you're a father, think about your children. Think about your child. Your child could have been Cyrus. Your child could have been Latasha, right? Your child could have been Trayvon. What we gonna do? Are we really gonna stand on business? Like, I need to know, because if you're a father, if you're a mother, and you have black children, what's up? What you gonna do? Y'all gotta help me understand. I feel like a failure as a man if our kids live in fear. Yeah, man. And mind you, I would crash out. You know what I'm saying? I would crash out. I'm being real with you. I'm not as you know, I'm not as forgiving. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not as forgiving. I'm not. You do something to me, it's eye for eye. In my estimation, it's an eye for an eye. That's how I rock. You do something to me, I'm gonna do something back. I'm not just gonna like, oh, let's figure it. Nah, bro. If you do something to my child or children, hey, I'm gonna need that in blood. Everybody different. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not like that. I'm not as forgiving. I don't have that in me. I come from just a different cloth, bro. And a lot of people, you know, they just cool. They just cool with certain things. But for me personally, yeah, I'm willing to take the L. I'm willing to sit down for my life, knowing that I did something to protect my family. I'm willing to sit down behind that. Some people ain't willing to sit down, you know what I mean? But I mean this, you know, if we're gonna play these games, if there's no consequence at a certain point, it becomes a vigilante type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a little dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that. Like, you know, a lot of people, they're cool with certain things and they move a certain way. But I mean this, like I send my deepest condolences to the families who have lost their lives behind these type of situations. You know, but I gotta keep it real, man. That's why I support Carmelo so much, because Carmelo, he had to do what he had to do. Ain't nobody gonna bully me, homie. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna put your hands on me, and then I'm not finna put my hands back on you, and you can't control the consequences of that. Nah, bro, we ain't finna do that. If I warn you, don't touch me, don't touch me. Straight up. And if you do, then you're gonna have to hold that. You're gonna have to F around and find out, y'all. I ain't gonna say too much, but that's just how I rock. I'm not the type of person. I'm not easily on that, bro. You put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands on you, and we're gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like the incentives for us and our people, we gotta set them now. We gotta start setting the precedent. What are we doing? Naturally, it is time for us to delineate for our own protection, but as well, we also have to make sure for the future generations that we standing on business, because if we don't, history is going to repeat itself. These examples are right here in our face. Right here in our face. It's up to us to decide, you know what I'm saying, if we gonna continue to let this type of stuff continue to happen. Real talk. Because at the end of the day, this is where we at as a people. What we gonna do, man? Yeah, yep. We have to build, come together, and network. Yeah, man. That's why, you know, I'm on here. I try my best to use this platform to connect with not only my own people, but people who are local, whatever. But at the end of the day, yeah, it now has to ramp up because we're starting to see more examples and more of this stuff is starting to happen. And we got to protect ourselves, because otherwise it's not looking good, man. It's not. Unless y'all cool with where we at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I did a stream. I think it was, it's cool. Don't trip. I did a stream on Wednesday about the Carmelo case, and I'm following it. But if you want to do like an everyday update, I suggest you guys go follow. Her name is Neek at Night. She's doing a great cover. She's boots on the ground. She is right. She's in the courtroom. Like, she's really, really on that. And so, yeah, that I'm trying to make sure I update as much as I can, because I've been following this case since it happened, you know, and I'm in full support of Carmelo. I hope he beats his case. I hope that, you know, he's given the justice that's deserved. But I also mentioned, it's not looking good, man. It's not. It's definitely looking like he's got a very tall hill to climb. And I only hope that justice is served in his direction, because I do not think he premeditated any of this. I think it was a, you know, heat of the moment type of situation. He was defending himself against a group, okay? A group of bullies who were trying to exert dominance over him. And unfortunately, they had to learn the hard way that you don't put your hands on people. That's just what it is, man. He said, yeah, the witnesses didn't do him no favors either. It's not looking good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of biases, obviously, that they want to express. And I think they also want to make an example. Obviously, there's many examples of the fact that they don't want us to be emboldened to protect ourselves. That's kind of what I'm getting from all of this, is the fact that they do not want us to be empowered to protect and defend ourselves against their threats. They want us to be docile. They want us to be able to be attacked and not protect ourselves. And I'm not taking that bait. I will never take that bait. I won't. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, you put your hands on me, we gonna rumble. That's just what it is. I'm not that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very, like, you know, I'm a very chill guy. I don't bother nobody, so don't bother me. But you put your hands on me, hey, we gonna squabble, man. We gonna squabble. That's just a fact. Salute to Devo. He says, but that store clerk who chased that boy out the store, yeah, man. I mean, this guy has a history of this, you know? He has a history of this. I mean, we look at, this is his history. All right. This guy had a history of being antagonistic, of being a menace to the society and a menace to the community. A guy like him shouldn't have a store in the community if he's doing this type of stuff. And it's proven, you know what I'm saying? Now all these videos are starting to come out. Now everybody wants to, you know, stand on business. Yeah, Zimmerman had a history too. He sure did. And mind you, you know, that's why I think the divine intervention that's going to happen regardless is us being a people of great spiritual connection. God is going to handle all this. But at the end of the day, the incentives of being right here in this country and the fact that these things are not being upheld in the right way, right, through the court system and justice and all this stuff they talk about, man, why believe in a system that does not support us, right? Why do things the right way when we know that if we defend ourselves, if we are law-abiding citizens, if we are doing the right thing, we still get the bad end of the stick. Like, nah, bruh, enough's enough, man. Enough's enough. Like, at this point, like I mentioned, it's time for us to delineate forever. Like, if you are patronizing their businesses, you are doing it at your own risk. Straight up. You're doing it at your own risk, because history tells us that they're willing to go all the way. They're willing to chase you down and pow you in your back. They have no control over themselves. They're completely unhinged. And if you're willing to put your life on the line, hey, you get what you get. You get what you get. If you're willing to put your life on the line for that, I mean it. You're cooked, man. You're not. It's not going to be a good look for you, man. So, yeah, I didn't want to stay on here too long, because obviously I think these type of streams, they're not going to push them out for me. And it's a Friday night, so I don't know. Maybe it's just not a lot of people, but it's cool, because I wanted to make sure that I spoke on this and brought, like I mentioned, the historical standpoint to y'all. So, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys are not patronizing their businesses this weekend. I hope you cook for yourself. I hope you keep your head on a swivel. Stay dangerous, if you know what I'm saying. And don't play no games, man, because at the end of the day, we all we got. And I hope you guys continue to support each other, man, because it's getting to that point. You feel me? So I hope you guys make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe if you have not. And yeah, I'll be back maybe sometime this weekend. So peace.